In question 1a, we need to derive the LM1 and LM2 equations. So when market get equilibrium, which means the money supply is equals to the money demand, and money demand included the speculative demand, transactions, and precautionary demand. So the equation is MS equals to MTD plus MSD. And from the information given above, we can get LM1 is equals to 4,000 is 300 minus 500 R plus 0.5Y. So we can get Y is 7,400 plus 1,000 R. And LM2, we can also get the Y is equals to 3,400 plus 1,000 R. And for B, we need to calculate if the interest rate is 5% and also 15%. So for the first one, R is equals to 5%, we can insert the 0.05 into the equation we already calculated. So we can get the LM1 is equals to 7450 and LM2 equals to 3450 when the R is 5%. And when R is 15%, we can get LM1 is equals to 75 and 50, LM2 is 35 and 50.
A simple explanation of question 1. Graph the LM curve. Vertical equal to interest rate, R%. Horizontal equal to national income, Y million RM. 2 points. Use money supply equal to money demand to find Y for given R. For example, R equal to 5%, equal to YY. R equal to 15%, Y2. Mark YY 5% at Y2 15%. 3. Line. Connect the 2 points. Label is LL is slopes upward. Question 2. Interpreting the LM curve, upward slope. Here are less money for speculation, more money for transaction. Need higher Y to balance. Points to LM R Y. Here means the money market is balanced, supply equal to demand. The new LM curve shifts leftward and increase in speculative. Money demand reduce the money available for transaction. For any given interest rate, the income level must decrease to reach the money market equilibrium.
Hello everyone, my name is Yiziqi and my metric number is A207154. So today I want to talk about the question 2 and A. Given the following information, money supply is equal to 2,000 and the money demand for transactions and precautionary is equal to 0.5Y and money demand for speculative is equal to 400 minus 1,000 multiplier R. So based on this information, provide answer the LM curve. And the second is calculation the value of national income at interest rates of 10% and 20%. So the first one is according to the information, MS is equal to 2,000 and MDT is equal to 0.5 multiplied by Y and MDS is equal to 400 minus 1,000 multiplied by R. So MS is equal to MD is equal to MDT plus MDS. So MD is equal to 0.5 multiplied by Y plus 400 minus 1,000 multiplied by R. So according to the MD is equal to MS, so 0.5 multiplied by Y is equal to 400 minus 1,000 multiplied by R is equal to 2,000. So Y is equal to 3,200 plus 2,000 multiplied by R. So finally, the LM curve is equal to Y is equal to 3,200 plus 2,000 multiplied by R. So the second question is if the interest rate is 10%, so R is equal to 0.1. So Y is equal to 3,200 plus 2,000 multiplied by R. So finally, Y is equal to 3,400. So when R is equal to 10%, the value of national income is equal to 3,400. So the interest rate is equal to 20%. So R is equal to 0.2. So Y is equal to 3,200 plus 2,000 multiplied by R. So Y is equal to 3,600. So when R is equal to 20%. So the value of national income is equal to 3,600. So that's all from my part. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Liu Xiayang and my metric number is A207145. Now I will tell the question 2, part B. The part B question is, if the demand for money for autonomous speculative purposes increases by 100, and the first part is to determine the new LM curve equation. So the solution for part 1 is that because the demand for money for autonomous speculative purposes increases by 100, so the M supply and demand is equal to 400 and plus 100, then minus 1000 R. The final is equal to 500 minus 1000 R. So the new total money demand is equal to 0.5 Y plus 500 and minus 1000 R. When at the equilibrium is 2000 equal to 0.5 Y plus 500 and minus 1000 R. So the final is Y equal to 3000 minus 3000 plus 2000 R. So the new LM curve equation is Y equal to 3000 plus 2000 R. For the part 2 is to calculate the value of national income at interest rates of 10% and 20%. From part 1, I can know that the new LM curve equation is Y equal to 3000 plus 2000 R, and the interest rates are 10% and 20%. When the interest rate is 10%, the national income is 3000 plus 2000, then the multiple 10%, and the in equal to 3200. When the interest rate is 20%, the national income is 3000 plus 2000 multiple 20% is equal to 3400. Finally, if the interest rate of 10%, the value of national income is 3200. When the interest rate is 20%, the value of national income is 3040%. No, the value of national income is 3400.
In part C, based on the calculated from parts A and B, The original LM curve is y equal to 3,200 plus 2,000 R, with national income of 3,400 and 3,600 at interesting rates of 10% and 20%. When autonomous speculative money demand increases by 100, the new LM curve becomes y equal to 3,000 plus 2,000 R, and income falls to 3,200 and 3,400 at the same rates. The two LM curves can be shown on the same diagram, with LM0 to the upper right and LM1 to the upper left. Both curves slope upwards, indicating that higher interest rates require higher income for money market equivalent. The leftward shift reflects higher speculative money demand, as individuals hold more cash instead of bonds, reducing funds for transactions and tightening the money market. Consequently, income must fall to restore equilibrium. Overall changes in money demand or supply shift the LM curve, and here increased the speculative demand lowers income and shifts LM left, reflecting tighter monetary conditions and reduced liquidity.